today I'm going to be watching this video. It's called the Top 10 Canadian Comedians. Now, of course, with lists like this, they're very subjective. Whoever makes this video is based on their whim, basically, and their thoughts and opinions. So sometimes with these lists, you just got to take them for what they are. You can tell me if you agree with this list. Tell me if there's any comedians on this you think shouldn't be on it, or if there's any comedians who are not on this list who you think should be on it. Tell me who your favourite, say, top 3 Canadian comedians are. I'm just interested to watch this to see what this is all about, see who the list believes the best Canadian comedians are, as well as just maybe learning about some other Canadian comedians that I've not heard of before. So let's check this out and you can tell me your thoughts on the list as well. From WatchMojo.
There must be something in the water in the Great White North.
Canada? Wow! Must have been cold.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Canadian comedians.
Check out the flags. Now what is that? Was that a weed on there or what? Come on, give me a break. Nice flag.
Number 10, Seth Rogen. Kicking off our list is one of Canada's best young comedians. Since his Freaks and Geeks days, Rogen wrote for the Ali G Show before showing a wider audience what he could do in The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Did you just flick me in the nuts? No. Flicked you in the fleshy patch where your nuts used to be.
It was Knocked Up, Superbad, and Pineapple Express that made him a household name, showed off his deadpan sarcasm, and held up the Vancouver stoner stereotype. Number 9.
Yeah, I really like Seth Rogen. I've mentioned that on videos before. Superbad's one of my favourite movies ever. Just comedic genius for me. Really interested to know what people think about Seth Rogen in Canada as well. And yeah, I wasn't sure if this was like Canadian comedians, if it was like stand-up comics or just comedic actors or a mixture. So maybe it's a mixture. We see Russell Peters here as well.
Russell Peters.
Oh, somebody brought a kid? Good job, huh? Good job.
This Brampton-born stand-up is one of the funniest and most successful on the circuit, Canadian or not. Anyone can relate to his routines, but Canadians especially connect to his unique racial experiences.
Russell! Somebody gonna get hurt real bad.
He also opened for Charlie Sheen on the Canadian leg of his Violent Torpedo of Truth tour. They can't all be hits. Number 8.
Yeah, the thing with Russell Peters as well, I live in Malaysia and he's actually one of the most well-known, well-liked comedians in Malaysia. So even though he's from Canada, he has a huge following over here in Asia as well. Martin Short, who I seen on SCTV in that in some of the skits I've watched, and really like him as well. Is he like considered a legend in Canada? I would imagine so.
Martin Short. This Hamilton, Ontario native began on the legendary Canadian sketch comedy show SCTV and has made us laugh ever since.
The Situation.
Yo, baby, you gotta chill the out. You, Mike.
JWoww.
Douchebag.
Characters like Ed Grimley followed him to Saturday Night Live, where he became a formidable impersonator. Cue Jiminy Glick and great stage performances, and you've got a star in your hands. Memorable roles in Three Amigos, Mars Attacks, and Father of the Bride reminded us he's one of the funniest Canadians around.
I did not realise that was him in Father of the Bride. That's a movie I watched when I was a child and growing up. Not like something I watched all the time or anything, but I watched it here and there. I had no idea that was who that was after seeing him recently. You can see he plays a kind of wide range of different characters and very diverse in the roles that he's taken up. So not only is he a great comedian, I guess he's just a great actor as well. Okay, now we've got Norm MacDonald.
Number 7, Norm MacDonald. You either love him or you hate him. Born in Quebec City, MacDonald would have ranked higher if he didn't make jokes about renouncing his home country. While his celebrity impersonations on SNL weren't exactly dead on, they were entertaining as hell.
Yeah, I found this backstage, oversized hat. It's funny.
No, it's not.
Sure it is. It's funny. It's funny because it's bigger than a normal hat.
Controversy is this guy's middle name, and while that gets him into trouble, he's still alive and kicking.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in all my life.
Number 6.
Okay, so I have watched obviously some videos of Norm MacDonald, really enjoying it. As someone who knew nothing of his comedy before, I just heard his name. I've enjoyed it so far. Maybe it seemed a little bit controversial, but nothing too controversial really. But I never knew there was like a love-hate thing with him. I just reading the comments on the videos I reacted to, it seemed overwhelmingly positive and people just seemed to really like him. So tell me if that's true. It said he renounced his, was it Canadian citizenship there? I'm not sure. Tell me more about that and why he would have did that. Phil Hartman, is that one of the voices, or he was one of the voices in The Simpsons, I think.
6. Phil Hartman.
McNugget is released from Great Britain to Somalia, intercepted by warlords.
Born in Brantford, Ontario, Hartman's first foray into comedy came when he and Paul Rubens created the characters Pee Wee Herman and Captain Carl. Hartman eventually took his unmistakable voice and impersonations to SNL, where he flourished.
Come on, swing, baby, you platinum.
You may remember him from such brilliant Simpsons roles as Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz.
I'm Troy McClure, and I'll leave you with what we all came here to see. Hardcore nudity!
In addition to movie and TV roles aplenty, including a show with fellow funny Canuck Dave Foley.
You're from Canada, eh?
Wisconsin, actually.
Wisconsin, cool, the Badger State, the nation's dairy land. Great country out there.
Number 5.
Yeah, so again, an iconic voice, really, from The Simpsons. That's all I really knew him from. Really, I think was he in Jingle All the Way as well. But his characters in The Simpsons are definitely iconic characters. Tell me what you think about Phil Hartman. But this is actually a very solid list so far, and it really shows the strength of not just Canadian comedians, but Canadian actors and personalities. Leslie Nielsen as well, man. He could have easily been number 1, man. What a comedic actor he is.
5. Leslie Nielsen.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Most remember this Saskatchewan-born actor as a hilarious comedian, but he actually started in drama. Good thing he made the switch, or we wouldn't have the memorable Naked Gun series.
By the way, I faked every orgasm.
Nielsen actually became the king of spoofs with his first comedic turn in Airplane.
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
But his most Canadian role came when he portrayed a retired curling champ in Men with Brooms. Number 4.
Oh man, going on to John Candy next. This is extreme talent. But Leslie Nielsen, yeah, I mean those roles. We've talked about that deadpan Canadian comedy so far, but that is just masterful deadpan comedy in a movie setting. John Candy, yeah.
4. John Candy. This lovable Torontonian used impressive impersonations and hilarious characters to win fans on SCTV. A breakout role in Splash made room for side-splitting comedies like Spaceballs, Cool Runnings, Uncle Buck, and of course, Canadian Bacon.
You Canadians are so sneaky.
His name is even on the Canadian Football League's Grey Cup as former part owner of the Toronto Argonauts. You can't get more Canuck than that.
Tell me more about Canadian Bacon. Of course, things like Cool Runnings and Uncle Buck, I've seen a lot when I was younger. So I've always known about John Candy, always been a fan of his. Tell me more about that movie. Maybe I'll try and check that Canadian Bacon movie out. I've never heard of it, but it sounds like it could be interesting.
Number 3, Mike Myers.
I am so full of anticipation that my genitals have sucked up into my body cavity.
Wayne Campbell, Austin Powers, Shrek. He's done it all. After growing up in Scarborough, Ontario, Myers built an SNL cast of characters that included Linda Richman, host of Coffee Talk, and Dieter, host of Sprockets. But it was the pairing of Wayne and Garth that skyrocketed him to film fame.
I'm sorry, I know it's your mom, but I'm afraid she's a babe. Schwing.
And only a Canadian would have hockey play such a huge role in a movie. Number 2.
Oh, Dan Aykroyd as well. I never knew he was from Canada actually, but Mike Myers again, like, you're seeing here actors who can play such a diverse and wide range of roles and play them all so well. Like these actors that I've seen so far really throw themselves into the role and give it everything. You can really tell.
Dan Aykroyd.
There's no other pair of Czech brothers who cruise and swing so successfully in tight slacks.
This Ottawa-born blues brother prospered on SNL with original characters like Two Wild and Crazy Guys and Beldar Conehead.
You have stimulated me. Let us return to the sleep chamber immediately.
Of course, his unparalleled writing skills and memorable catchphrase didn't hurt either.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Comedies like The Great Outdoors and Ghostbusters solidified Aykroyd's spot on this list. And while he was in a movie called My Fellow Americans, we'll let that go since he was also in Canadian Bacon. Number 1, Jim Carrey.
Well, Jim Carrey, number 1. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess this is also kind of veering towards those comedic actors more in this list rather than just like stand-up comics and things like that. Surprised I never seen Rick Mercer, someone like that. But yeah, let's hear more about Jim
Coming
Carrey
in at
first
number
of all.
1 is the man nicknamed Rubberface.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
His stand-up routines poked fun at Canada, but this Newmarket, Ontario boy earned his stripes as the white guy on In Living Color. His slapstick talent made him a star in Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Bruce Almighty. But Jim Carrey tops this list simply because he got famous for talking out of his butt.
Thank you for all your cooperation. By the way, do you have a mint? Perhaps some Banaka?
With so many hilarious comedians coming out of Canada, we're sure we've missed a few. Who's your favorite?
Yeah, I think you definitely missed a few, like I mentioned, like Rick Mercer, but looking at the strength of that top 10, I guess you can argue the order and people will have their own preferences and things like that, who they think should be number 1 and whatever number, but if you just look at that list as an overall array of Canadian talent, it's undeniable how great that is. Like, that is solid, absolutely solid. Those are, again, not just some great comedians, just some great actors and personalities as well. Multi-talented people who can carry out a wide range of different roles. So tell me what you think about the list itself. Tell me if you think there's anybody that was missing from the list. Tell me what you think about it. Do you agree with Jim Carrey being number 1? Yeah, thanks for watching.